And we're back! Guys, welcome back in to another video. Guys, this video has been one that I've been looking forward to doing. I caught a little bit of it, but I only caught a little bit of it while it was live, so I came in kind of on the tail end or the middle. I'm not too sure. But I knew this was something I definitely wanted to react to once this was posted. The video in question that I'm referring to, guys, is done by Saint It Chief. He did a recent Attack on Titan debate with a person who is an ending defender that goes by the name of Beluga the Jaegerist. They basically are going to be defending the ending. They're going to be saying, I guess, things in regards to the same spiel that we've heard before about how the ending wasn't that bad and the ending was great, and he's going to be trying to make points as to why the ending was good. To be honest with you, I don't know how he can do it. I really don't fucking know. I don't know how anybody can fucking do that. But that's what he said that they're going to do. That's what the debate is going to be about. Now, here's the thing now. This video here that Saint put up is a long video. It's about 2 hours long. So I'm going to try to react to the whole thing. If I don't react to the whole thing, I know for a fact it's definitely going to be a part 2. I'm going to try to react to as much as I can right now. Again, guys, you know that I'm long-winded. You know that I like to talk a lot. You know that I like to give a lot of details. You guys already know me for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get as much information in this one as I can. And then we're going to just kind of go from there. If a part 2 is needed, then I'll go ahead and put a part 2. If not, everything's going to try to be as concise as possible in this particular one that you're watching now. This is the video we're going to react to. But before we get into all of that, you already know the deal. Let's get the business out the way. Guys, if you enjoy the content that you are consuming, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, that like button. It helps out the channel, it helps the algorithm, and it helps us be seen to more people. So thank you for that. Also, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. It's free, doesn't cost you a goddamn dime, and again, it also helps out the channel. Go ahead and comment down below, guys. Let me know if you guys were live during this debate, or let me know if the points in question or the things that are being said in the video make sense to you. If you're more on Beluga's side, or if you're more on Saint's side, and different things like that, let me know down below, and I'll definitely be sure to comment back. Last but not least, go ahead and share the content. Sharing is fucking caring. And also hit the notification bell so you guys are up to date and aware of anything and everything that's being put out on the channel. I appreciate it. All right. So without motherfucking ado, let's do this. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and get into this one. This is the debate between Beluga and Mr. Saint It Chief. Now, the thing is that Saint It Chief has already let us know where he stands. Again, most of his points and things that he disagrees with on the ending, we pretty much kind of are in agreement on that. We all are on the same page when it comes to why the ending sucked, why the ending was ass, stuff of that nature. So we're already pretty much there. Beluga, honestly, I don't know. I've never heard of him before. This is the first time I'm being introduced to him. Again, he's saying he's an ending defender and a Jaegerist. I don't know how, but let's just see. So let's get into this.
Okay, so while he's setting that up, I'll introduce. This is Beluga T.Y. I don't know why it's T.Y. But
Beluga the Jaegerist.
The Jaegerist, right. Beluga the Jaegerist, and he's an Attack on Titan ending defender. He's one of the more logical ones. You know, he doesn't say that everything is perfect. You know, he acknowledges that there are some flaws, but he thinks overall that the community who doesn't like the ending are doing too much, basically, like not exactly giving the story the credit it deserves when it does accomplish good things. Am I saying that right? I don't want to be misquoted.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so
Understand what he's saying. Basically, he thinks that us as haters are doing too much. So let's see his points. Let's see what he got to say. All right, let's go.
but the main thesis, the main thing that we decided to debate him on today was about Eren and his character. And your argument is that Eren as a character remained consistent, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna use the word Aaron's character is not retconned. That's what I'll say.
Okay, not retconned. All right, cool, fine. And when we say retcon, we mean in chapter 139, he was not retconned.
No, he not retconned.
All right, cool. So who's gonna go first? Me or you? I mean, I think everybody knows my arguments for why he is retconned.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody here, anyways.
I guess I'll go first.
You move I can fix it. You gotta leave your camera in one position, bro.
Oh my tripod thingy is
It's fucked up. Alright, hold on.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
just today too. I love how today, this exact day, it chooses to do this.
Okay. Alright, I fixed it. Alright, I got the timer, so it's 10 minutes, right?
Yep.
Alright. Oops.
Still don't see it.
You can't see the timer? It's on the stream. I'll tell you when. It's on the stream. Alright, I'm about to start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so people say Aaron's character fell off in the end because he used to be full of passion and conviction. He knew what he had to do for the Eldian people, and he was going to do it no matter the guilt he incurred on the people that he killed. People also question why he ended up leaving Eldia to fate in the end. Lastly, people question why he all of a sudden he ended up simping for Mikasa. Obviously, that's in quotes. This is my response to that. To me, it's very obvious Eren always cared about his friends above all else, especially Mikasa and Armin. I say especially Mikasa and Armin because those are the only two people he mentions by name when talking to his father.
My man fighting a whole Pokemon, this motherfucker in there, ain't he? Jesus fucking Christ, dog. That man fighting a whole Pikachu.
He always wanted his friends to live long, happy lives. Again, especially Mikasa and Armin. Killing them would be totally opposed to his character. Sacrifice his friends for something else is not like him. Notice early in the story, he sacrificed himself for Armin. Meaning, to kill them for his goals would actually be a retcon of Eren's character. He even goes so far as to say that they are the most important people to him. This means that he prioritizes them over his countrymen. For him to choose Eldia over his friends is completely inconsistent. In regards to leaving Eldia to fate, well, not only is that a simplification, of course. Eren destroyed industry, research facilities, all the ships in the world, all the war aircraft in the world. He even says in 139 they'll lose their capacity to wage war. Alas, assuming there is some risk at play, Eren in a bunch of instances puts his faith completely in Armin, most notably in the Trost arc, where he puts his faith completely in Armin's discretion. Again, in chapter 86, he says that Armin will be the one to save humanity. These ideals carry into 139 Eren, therefore there's no deviation in behavior. As for the Mikasa situation, well, to me, saying that Eren never loved Mikasa because he didn't show much signs is just as foolish as saying that Grisha or Leonhardt didn't love their kids. These three men were distracted by something else. Even so, there's reason to believe that Eren had strong, even romantic feelings for Mikasa. One of the clearest signs of an Attack on Titan character being romantically interested in someone is blushing. We see this with Falco, Gabby, Mikasa, Annie, Armin, Hana, Franz, and even Eren. Chapter 6, he blushes when he gives Mikasa the scarf, and in the anime it's even more emphasized. Music comes to a crescendo, then stops. Eren is focused completely on focused completely on Mikasa, not on Zeke, and only Mikasa's words break through. War. This is when he's going through the memories. He also blushes in 108. And makes this clearer in the manga by having a panel of just the two of them blushing, presumably at each other. And then, of course, at the end of Season 2, Eren gets his will to fight for Mikasa. He feels defeated and worthless. Mikasa tells him all that he's done for her, and he makes a promise to her, something he's done with no other character. In fact, the ending quite clearly circles back to this by wrapping the scarf around her. And nothing is retconned. It's alone, nothing is retconned. This isn't even the biggest issue with most ending haters. I feel like they really loathe the "no, I don't want that" scene. This is definitely not a retcon. Eren has always been selfish. Unlike everyone who joined the Civic Corps for humanity, he did it for his own personal vendetta and his own personal sense of freedom. Not to mention he manipulated the entire Civic Corps into the Liberia raid. But that's not even my main point. It's really the whiny aspects people loathe. Lots of people forget Eren tried to stay calm at first. Armin punched him as demanding the truth, while he's under the duress of his memories and the war. Whining is a selfish part of Eren. Everyone has one. He wants Mikasa to be with him, but he knows what's best for her. This is exactly what Carly did as well, albeit not to the same extent. After Eren and Mikasa and Armin left, she cried out, she said, "No, don't go." Which is a very terrible thing to say, but that's because the selfish side of Carla crept out. She didn't want to die, and she wanted her kids to be with her in the end. But she did let them go away, and she did do what's best for them. Annie was also a stoic person as well throughout Season 1. She also had very poignant moments, like her laugh. In fact, at the end of the Season 1, she was ugly crying worse than Eren, and then returned to her stoic self in the time skip. Like Eren, her stoicism was partly an act, but mostly real. People get impassioned, intense, and emotional moments, and most people understand this, which is why no one said that Annie's character was retconned. Eren was simply having an emotional moment. It's also noteworthy to point out that he returns to its stoic self in 138. 139 happens in 131. It's really not a 180. It's just a poignant gap in an otherwise stoic behavior, like all people have. To me, I see no massive change in his character or retcon. I just see a very real, very layered character. I'll concede the rest of my time.
Alright, so apparently this guy... So apparently Beluga's doing this in a debate format type thing. So what he's doing is he's giving out his little, layout of what it is, and then he's like, okay, I only got this amount of time to say it, and like a presidential debate, to say everything that you're gonna do and every point you want to make, and then after that, the person then has to rebuttal and do all that stuff. To me, I'm like Saint in that regard. It's one of those things where I'm a free flower, so I'm not gonna be addressing all the points to like, because I don't want to miss any points. But for the most part, I got what he was saying. Before Saint rebuttals, here's mine. So when it comes to the whole thing about what he's saying that Eren's character wasn't retcon and that he put his friends' lives above everything else, 139 completely retcons it on its own. The reason it retcons it on its own is based on the fact of what he said in chapter 139. He clearly stated that he didn't even know if they were going to survive and that he drugged them into this situation. So if he drugged them into this situation without even knowing if they were going to survive, that clearly means that he himself didn't really take heed and think about the safety of them. He put his goals above the safety of his so-called precious friends. So if in fact it is not a retcon, then what he would have done is he would have prioritized them over him trying to kill people. He would have prioritized them over the rumbling. If it was not a retcon, but it was a retcon. Because you can't put the emphasis so much on the fact that you are my precious friends and I want y'all to live long, happy lives, but then in the end admit that, well, I had no idea if y'all were going to even fucking survive or not. So I drug y'all into this. Sorry. So that clearly, again, retcons what your stance was. You said it throughout. I will admit, throughout the entirety of the story, he was always saying that they were precious to him and they were what mattered to him and all this and all that. So yes, I agree with that. However, 139 literally shits on that idea by him admitting that he had no clue whether or not they were going to survive the little war that he was waging. Right? He had no idea. That part should have been left out. Because if I'm not mistaken, when he said that again to them, and he didn't even want none of them to even take his attack titan when they were on the train, Sasha was there. All his friends were there. Sasha got killed on the airship. So he said Mikasa and Armin above everyone else. Okay, cool, fine. But you admitted to him, you admitted to Armin, again, that you didn't even know if they were going to survive at all. So if you didn't know that they were going to survive at all, how do you know if you were even going to get to that step of Mikasa's apparently making some choice that was going to change the outcome of everything so that the worm could just disappear? You didn't know. You didn't know. So that is a retcon. That is absolutely a retcon. Because that should not have happened. And he should have held true and stood firm on what he said. So to the point that he made regarding the whole I don't want to see Mikasa with another man situation. That's not the biggest gripe that people like me and others like me have. That's not our biggest issue. Our biggest concern is the fact that it came out of left field. And our biggest concern is the fact that throughout the story, there were no hints at the fact that they had this romantic relationship. There was nothing to that. And then the thing is if he wanted to try to say, oh, it's blushing, that's not even entirely true. Because when he was on a train and everybody was talking to him, everybody included, he blushed. Eren blushed then. That doesn't mean that he was romantically in love with Jean, Connie, and everybody that was sitting on the train. So that point is mute. So it's one of those things is you can't relate blushing to being in love with somebody. You can't relate that to that because blushing could also mean that you're embarrassed. Like, damn, that's embarrassing. That's just what it can be. It can also mean that. The issue is throughout the story, we got evidence that he did care about his friends because he said it multiple times. We got that. We understood that. Cool. Fine. That's established. That's been established. And throughout the chapters and throughout the story, we never got a solid romantic love for Mikasa. We never got that. We never got that. And even in an interview prior to, Isayama even admitted that their relationship was more of a brother-sister relationship. So I don't know why he changed it to that. I don't know why he altered it. We never got that, oh shit, he's in love with her. Every time they had an interaction, it was more of a brother-sister thing. It was more of a nonchalant, non-caring thing. She was more obsessed with him than he was with her, clearly. Clearly, right? Every time something happened, it was always, where's Eren? Where's Eren? Where is he at? But if something happened in the terms on his side, it never was like, hey, where's Mikasa? Is Mikasa safe? It never occurred to him. Never. It was never to that degree. You know what I'm saying? When she's on missions and shit and trying to do different things, she's thinking of Eren. She's thinking of where is Eren at? When he's focused on his goal. He's focused on the mission at hand. It's not that. Even in the beginning arc, where everything started going to shit, she was talking to him and trying to kind of protect him a little bit. He headbutted her and was like, yo, chill out. You know what I'm saying? We good. But they were on two separate teams and shit. That ain't no love. If there was some type of romantic thing there, it would have been symbolized through the writing. It would have been symbolized through the animation. To where he, in that regard, if she was worried about him, he probably would have grabbed her or something, grabbed her arm and been like, everything's going to be okay or something. And then gave a little squeeze on her arm or something. Something that kind of shows some type of softness to her. We would have been like, oh, okay. You know, we could kind of put two and two together from a reader's perspective or from a viewer's perspective. But it wasn't that. It was never that. So that's why we're like, that scene didn't make sense. But again, that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the chapter as a whole. It really has nothing to do so much with the fact that he wanted Mikasa and wanted to be with her and shit like that. That was a problem, but the entire chapter was an entire clusterfuck of problems. That's an entire issue of problems. So that's why we didn't like it. These are the reasons why. It doesn't have anything to do about they're showing emotion at that time and they're stoic beings and Annie is stoic, and then when she laughed at the fact of when they confronted her about her being a Titan and stuff, she blushed then too. Did she love them? When she was laughing, she was blushing, and she looked at her, she loved. No, she didn't. So, but that's my thing. Those are my points. Those are my rebuttals. So let's go into it and let's see what Saint has to say.
All right. Nice. Okay, so I agree with a lot of the stuff you said, but there's a lot of things that I vastly, very, very much disagree on. And I know I only got 10 minutes, but I don't mind because I want to ask you questions and I want you to respond to them, even though it's going to be my time. So I'm going to put my time now, and it started. Okay.
Whoa. You didn't get to do that in the cross-ex, right? You have 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. My fault. I forgot about that. All right. So
the rebuttal. You rebuttal my opening statement in your rebuttal period.
Okay, see, this is too. Okay, I got you. I haven't never done like actual formal debate before. Okay, so my opening statement is that Eren was 100% retconned. He was completely changed from the character that he was at the beginning of the story to the end. So was Armin as well. They both were retconned in some way, shape, or form. The reasoning being is that the reasoning for Eren's retcon, I couldn't tell you why he was retconned, but the reason why I say that he was retconned is because the Eren that was presented to the reader pre-time skip is a completely different character than the Eren that was presented post-time skip. You say that Eren has always been selfish. I say that is completely not the case. I never once in the history of time believed that Eren was selfish, as in he was thinking about what he was doing was for himself. What he was doing was for his people. Now, if you want to say he's selfish in just that he cares about himself and his people and the ones close to him, well, then I feel like that's selfish. I don't know, but when as Eren as an individual, Eren never did things because this is going to help Eren. If I do this, I will make the world a better place for Eren. Eren never thought that way. He always thought we should be. Why is this taken away from us? Why are we not allowed? You know, so I completely disregard that thing for Eren being a selfish character. As far as the Eren and Mikasa romance, if you have a story that has well over 100 chapters and the only indication that you have for a romantic relationship is blushing, then the writer failed completely, because there's multiple instances of people blushing in this show and there's no indication of romance. So I'm sorry, that's not good enough.
Hey, he said it. He said exactly what I just said. I just said the same thing. If your evidence is that of blushing, that's the only thing that you have to go off of to try to say that there was a romantic connection of sorts. That's mute. That's a mute point, because there are multiple instances, as I said and as he just said, where there are people who were blushing. Like I said, when Annie was laughing, she was blushing. When Eren was on the train with everybody around him, he was blushing. It doesn't mean that he had a romantic connection and he was looking directly at Mikasa and winked at her or something to that degree. It was never to that degree. It was never to that notion. You never assumed that. And I'm quite sure that the logical people who read the manga didn't pick up the fact that he had a romantic relationship with Mikasa. Now, you had those weirdos, those folks who wanted to put them into a relationship because for some reason people do that, and I don't know why. But you had them doing that, and they were probably like, yes, great, thank you, Eren finally admitted it. But from a reader's point to where I'm looking at that as like, this is irrelevant. This is irrelevant to what's going on right now because of the simple fact there was no evidence to show any type of romantic involvement on Eren's end to Mikasa. Now, for sure, of course, Mikasa to Eren, that's a different story. But from Eren's perspective, there was no romantic advances, nothing towards her at all. So that's why that scene was an issue. It wasn't the only issue, and it wasn't the biggest issue, but it was an issue nonetheless.
The only way that could work is if it's a hidden type of romance. If it's supposed to be a plot twist romance where the story, where the characters, where the audience don't see that the characters are in love with each other, but there's enough breadcrumbs to see that it could lead to that will work. But if it's an open and shut, these guys are in love with each other and you should have known it from the beginning, that a blush is not enough. You need more than that. You need way more than that for it to be a believable romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Mikasa loved Eren. I think we all believe that. But
Right.
did Eren love Mikasa? We don't know. We have no examples. We have no indication of Eren showing a romantic interest in Mikasa for the entire series. The closest thing you have is the scarf and the question of the scarf wrapping scene, which I can argue against, and then the question of what am I to you, which I can argue against. So those are the only two, and they have caveats. They aren't like open and shut cases. So for you to just say that Eren always loved Mikasa, it's just nonsense. It's just a decision that you've made with the story, and I could just as easily counter that decision. The only chapter that ruins it for me is 139. Outside of 139, you have no proof of that, and neither do I. It could go either way, right? And then the last thing I want to say is that Attack on Titan, as a story I've noticed, suffers from recency bias. You think about this show, you know, it's a pretty short show compared to a lot of other anime. You know, like animes go on. I mean, not a lot, but
Right.
major big three top animes, you know, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, they go on for hundreds and hundreds of chapters. Attack on Titan only has 139, but it still took 10 years. You know, it still took 10 years to get it all said and done. And so throughout those 10 years, people pick up the story, they drop it, they get interested in something else, they come back, the anime comes back for a new season, and you have a thing called recency bias. And recency bias is where you look at the characters and the way they are acting right now, and you go, oh yeah, this is how they've always been, because you don't remember how they used to be. But if you watch the entire series from start to finish, there is a stark difference between how Eren behaves and how Armin behaves. There is a stark difference between how the story treats the characters, their dialogue, their conversations, the way they think, the thought processes is nothing. It feels the same post time skip as it does pre time skip, and a lot of that I originally attributed to the fact that Eren was no longer the center of attention post time skip. But I think it's not just that. I think it's the writing itself just went in a completely different direction, and Isayama tried to tell a message that he didn't understand himself. And unfortunately, Eren as a character suffered because of that. And that's the only thing we're focusing on today is Eren, but the whole story suffered because of that. And that's it. I forfeit the rest of my time. All right. You said bro ain't listening? He definitely listening. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm for sure listening. All right. You have no idea how long we wait for this. All right, so Mira, can you set the clock?
I got you. Wait, how long am I supposed to set the clock for?
Doing a rebuttal now to your open statement, so 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay, I don't remember.
And then after everyone's favorite part, the 20-minute cross X.
Okay. All right. Well, I never got to rebuttal your points though. I'm confused.
After my rebuttal, there'll be your rebuttal.
Okay. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, he's doing a very formal debate thing, to where it's like a very formal presidential-esque type debate. Like me personally, I'm like Saint. I'm one of those people to where I like to do a back and forth type thing, and where we can talk and do this. Now, granted, I will say this makes it more concise and makes things a little bit more, streamlined, if you will. So I will give him that. But in a situation like this, as long as you're being respectful, you're not talking over each other, I think they could have had a little powwow session in regards to each other's thoughts on the show and on the manga as a whole. That's just me, but whatever.
All right. Oh, yeah, I'm good. This is a little technical episode. Okay, so you said Eren's never acted selfishly. I have to disagree with that, because here's the thing. And
individually, I just want to say that.
Yeah, individually. I think it's very clear that Eren was. I mean, think about it. When Levi asked him, why do you want to join the Story Corps? He didn't say anything about humanity. He didn't say, I want to free humanity. I want to do this for the sake of everyone else. He said none of that. He said, because I want to kill all the Titans, because he has a personal vendetta. Now, I'm not saying that in and of itself proves his selfishness, but then later on, in the time skip, he just completely manipulates everyone into doing the Liberio raid. So I think that Aaron's not the most selfless character around.
I mean, okay. All right. That's not him being selfish. That's him knowing that it is what it is at this point in time. So, prime example, the reason I'm saying that that's not selfish is because of the simple fact he was already there. He decided to walk off because, again, at that point, you got to understand something too. At that point, you're comparing apples to oranges. Yes, they're both fruit, but you're comparing apples to oranges. And the reason I say that is because during the time in which Levi asked him what he wanted to do, he said, I want to kill all the Titans. Right? That's what he said. But at that time, that's all that they knew. So you have to take into an account what his world view was. You have to take into an account what his world view was at that time. All he knew were the Titans. All he knew was that this was the problem. They were the issue. He had no idea that the world was much bigger and much more vast than what was perceived, right? He had no clue. So naturally, his thought process is going to change along with the times that's presented to him. So at that time, sure, yes, all I want to do is just kill the Titans. But once he started to understand that the outside world was then now trying to destroy the island and that the Titans weren't the problem, that's when it became a lot bigger of an issue. A lot more was at stake here. It wasn't just only my friends that were going to get killed because they joined the Survey Corps and shit like that, and we were just going to just wipe out a few Titans and wipe them all off the face of the earth. It wasn't that simple anymore. It was, damn, the rest of the world fucking hates us. The rest of the world wants us fucking dead, right? He got access to his father's memories, the books, all of that stuff. He started to see the stark difference of his small little world compared to the vastness of the rest of the world. So it was a totally different thing. That's what I'm saying. We have to stay on context, and we have to give context. Yes, he was selfish at that time because his goals were small-minded. His goals were just, my mom got eaten in front of me. These Titans gotta go because I feel as though they're the reason why we're not free, because you guys are the reasons we had to build the wall, because at that time, once again, they were the ones who thought that they were the only humans left. That was it. So once that was revealed to be false and the world was a lot bigger, then after that, you get the medal ceremony. Then he already had the little power of foresight. He already saw things that were happening. He was already in that world. So now it's a much more bigger problem because there are people that are after us now. There are people that are smart, intelligent motherfuckers that are scheming to kill us. There's a lot. That's a big, big fucking difference, man. So then his goal from wiping out the Titans changed, and it grew to now I need to protect you guys, and I need to protect the whole island, because instead of just the Titans and in this area just trying to kill us while we're out hunting and grazing with the fucking horse and shit, now it's motherfuckers with technology that can wipe us all out. So now, yeah, I do care. I want the island to be safe. This is what I grew up on. This is my fucking home. How dare they try to destroy us? So yeah, that's not selfish anymore, because now he's looking out for his home. His home includes all the people. That's why he said it in chapter 123. Come on now. Come on now.
I think he's pretty much has a lot of parallels to Erwin. And that, speaking of Erwin, that actually includes the romance. Now, I'm very glad that you said this, because you said it would only work if it was supposed to be a plot twist. I totally agree. I think it was supposed to be a plot twist for sure. I was surprised. I was not a big Eren Mika guy at all. In fact, I thought that my friends were foolish for even believing in Eren Mika before I finished the chapter. But I was wrong, and it was, in my opinion, it was supposed to be a plot twist. And again, it's not just blushing. All right, we have. I'm excited to hear your response in the cross-ex, but we have the scarf thing. We have him thinking about her in his memories. we have again when he go not only in the members of 130, but I'm talking about when he's in around 121, 122. Again, he's focusing on Mikasa, and Mikasa's empathized. And in the 108,
you can't say 121, 122, 121, and 122. You can't say that because that was Zeke going through his memories. That was Zeke trying to determine about the relationship with his father. That was a big issue. That was a big deal that occurred during that time that he killed those folks. That wasn't because he was thinking about Mikasa. Yeah, his gaze softened when he saw that, because that, again, your gaze softens when you saw that, because that was a much simpler time. That was a much simpler a point in time that happened to where he gave her the scarf and she became part of the family. That's just what that was. But he clearly told Zeke, like, we're looking through this, but that was a comparison between Grisha and Eren, and Zeke wanting to see if Grisha was raising Eren the same way that he was raised. That's all that was. So you can't say that. You can't say that. Like, we gotta stop. That's what I'm saying. Now you're reaching. You can't reach for that.
hey, it's a breadcrumb. It's a breadcrumb for sure. It's not a smoking gun, but Isayama focuses on just Eren and Mikasa. And the biggest thing about the scarf scene to me is that he gets his will to, as I said in my opening statement, to fight again from Mikasa. He feels completely worthless, and he starts laughing about it all, and we all yada yada yada. But in that one of the darkest moments in his life, Mikasa is the one to bring him up. Kind of reminds you of what happened in chapter 6, right? One of the darkest moments in Mikasa's life. Who is there? Eren. So I think there's definitely a lot of breadcrumbs.
It doesn't matter if that was the case, but again, my sister can bring me up, right? It doesn't mean your point here is to prove romantic feelings. That is your point. Your point, your goal is to prove that Eren had romantic feelings for Mikasa. That's your point. That's your goal. But you're failing because of the simple fact, because you can't think of one. You're reaching at these instances to try to create a story that's not there. Just because somebody brings you up doesn't mean it's a romantic thing. It happens in anime all the time. Somebody's master or something gets killed or something like that and gives this big speech and say, you're stronger than what you think you are. And then they just be like, oh my God, everything's burning around me. And now they get the resolve to beat the bad guy. It happens all the time. That's not a romantic thing. So that's what I'm saying. You're comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing apples to oranges, my man.
Chapter 2.
It's definitely not a smoking gun. It's definitely not as obvious, but it's there. It's definitely there, and I definitely wouldn't say it's a red commentary about Mikasa. There's definitely a lot that you could go back and see. I think that's. Did I address all your points? Is there something? I'm supposed to counter all your points in this.
No, you didn't. It's okay. I didn't really. I just made like a broad statement, but I'll make points next time. I was confused. Sorry. I'll make points now if you're done.
You can do that, or we can go into the cross-X.
I mean, it's up to you. I don't know. You're the leader of this, bro. I've never done a formal debate.
All right. How about you just say a couple points? I'll rebuttal, and then we'll go to the cross-X.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna reset the time.
These formal debates are very strange.
Here are my points. So here's a couple points. I don't want to give them all away. So we just go about what you just said a few seconds ago. So you just said Eren regained his will to fight for Mikasa. So in your opinion, that is a breadcrumb. You said that breadcrumb for a romantic relationship, right?
Yes.
Okay. Eren also regained his will to fight from Historia. So that's also a breadcrumb for a romantic relationship, right?
Sure.
Okay. So we admit that there was a breadcrumbs for both sides being romantic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why would Isayama leave breadcrumbs for a completely different character to be the romantic interest if it was going to be Mikasa in the end anyway? Why did he do that? Why did the anime remove the hooded figure from the barn sex scene if it didn't make a difference anyway, if it was originally supposed to be that way, if it just makes perfect sense for a hooded figure to be standing there while Historia get banged? Why did Historia even have a child? Why did Eren agree to that if he knew that they would never be able to eat Zeke if his plan went through anyways? She would never get eaten by Zeke no matter what. He had complete control over the military and everything that they were going to do. She would have never gotten eaten. And also, why are they working? Why are another thing is he also focused on Historia and Eren in Uprising arc. It was just them. They had time to talk, all that. So these things there are breadcrumbs for both relationships, right? My thing is, it makes sense to hide Historia because that would actually be a plot twist, because Historia having a child could have been plot significant. Eren being in love with Mikasa means nothing to the plot. It just means something to those two characters in particular. Eren had years to tell Mikasa how he felt. He had years, not just a couple days, not just, he had multiple years to explain to this woman how he felt about her. They could have been in a relationship. They could have had sex, maybe something. They could have consummated their relationship. They had plenty of time.
True.
He doesn't wait. He waits until the
True.
last possible moment, and in the last possible moment, he shows that he is so passionately infatuated with this woman that's the only thing that's on his mind when he's dying. When every other instance of his death in the story, every other instance of near death, Eren doesn't even mention Mikasa. Not for 1 second.
True.
And you're telling me that's not a retcon?
I mean, that's a very valid fucking point. It's a valid point. And that's what he's saying. That's a valid point. So we can't say these things and be like, oh, yeah, so this is what that is. And, oh, he was in love with her like this, because if you're going to go with the notion that him being brought up from despair by Mikasa in his darkest moment was a breadcrumb of a relationship, he said the same thing. You might as well say the same thing about Historia. And as my example was, even in other anime, you might as well say the same thing about every other particular situation where that happens. That's a breadcrumb of some type of romantic relationship, but it's not. It's not a romantic relationship. It's not a breadcrumb of that. It's none of those things. They're reaching because they want to. As he said too, which I respect. He said it's not a smoking gun. It's not like this is legit. I can respect his answer of him saying, hey, look, it's not a smoking gun. Take it how you will. I can respect that. But I would say the point is so irrelevant, you shouldn't even mention it. Because, again, as Saint said, Historia did the same thing when he just wanted to die, and he wanted to be eaten by Historia. He wanted to die. I would say that's probably a little bit more darker than him saying, damn, I can't do anything. Why can't I do something? Damn, that sucks. Right? Him still kind of wanting to fight and still wanting to live, but just being down on himself because he feels as though that he was weak. But Historia's thing was a little bit more of like, yo, man, just finish me off. I don't care anymore. It's my fault. It's my family's fault. Finish me. That's a little bit more darker. Just saying. Just saying. All right, guys. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Because, again, I don't want it to be too long to where you guys can't digest it and you guys won't watch it straight through. I'm going to do maybe a part 2 and a part 3 of this. So I want to see the full debate. I'm going to probably try and may do part 2 a little differently. Just touch on key major points of the debate itself and try to do that. But we're going to go ahead and end it here. It's pretty good. I think Beluga, again, is trying. He's definitely trying. But the format is just a little weird for me, man. Like I get it's a formal debate type situation in that format of, hey, it's a presidential debate type format. Yes, that's a little weird to me. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it thus far. Again, if you guys are enjoying it, if you're just based off of what we were saying, go ahead and comment. Let me know your thoughts thus far on any points that were made by Beluga, by myself. Just let me know what you guys agree with or what you don't agree with. And yeah, we'll go from there. But also go ahead and again, subscribe as well. Go ahead and share the content, hit the notification bell also so you guys are in the loop. We're going to go ahead and end this one here, and we're going to do a part 2 and a part 2 follow-up so that we can go ahead and get into it and keep going with this great debate. All right? So, guys, enjoy the rest of your goddamn day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.